Hi vinyl community, this is Glenn here, your low-end music freak. This is a contest entry for Joe at Analogue Archive. Joe's reached 100 subs. Congratulations, Joe. Great achievement. I'm at 95, so I'm right behind you, buddy. I was turned on to your channel recently by Rachel. She gave you a shout out and did an entry in your contest, and that's kind of what turned me on to your channel. So I'm looking forward to watching your videos in the future, and thank you so much for putting on the contest. Joe has 3 parts to the contest. The first part is your favorite live album. The second part is an album from a solo artist who was also in a famous band and did some material, solo material on his own. The third, the best find you got at a record store, not online. It had to be in your hand at a bricks and mortar store. So let's get started. My favorite live album I'm going to pick. One of my favorite bands, King Crimson. This is an album that came out. This is from a 2015 show in my hometown of Toronto. King Crimson live at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre, Toronto, November 20th, 2015. This really got me into the Live Crimson series. Before that, I had a lot of studio albums and that, and I'm a big fan of the band. In the Court of the Crimson King, I think, is one of the greatest albums of all time. But never really got into their live stuff, and still this came out, and what attracted me to it, because it was from Toronto, and I got it and just frickin' went crazy over it. I absolutely loved it. This is the recent incarnation of the band with, obviously Robert Fripp, who's always in it, but Tony Levin and Mel Collins, the great Jacko Jaksic doing vocals and playing guitar, and the 3 drummers they have. It's an awesome band. I've seen them 2 or 3 times since 2015, and great shows. If King Crimson comes to your area, go see the concert. You'll never see greater musicianship. It's incredible. Great band. So live in Toronto, King Crimson. That's my live album. There's the disc itself. Next, favorite solo artist who was also in a band. I went with this gentleman right here, Jorma Kokkonen. Jorma was the lead guitar player for the Jefferson Airplane. He also was in Hot Tuna with Jack Cassidy. Puts out a lot of solo albums. This is my favorite, Quay or Qua. I've never known how to pronounce it. Great acoustic album. This was a record store release probably about 5 years ago. It was on colored vinyl, beautiful kind of a yellowy red mix there. It's very cool, great album. He also has a few other solo albums out. And if you're looking for something to do on Saturday nights during the quarantine, Jorma puts on a live concert every Saturday night from his ranch in Ohio. So check that out if you're looking for something to do on a Saturday night. He's a great guitar player. Last, what was my best find at a record store, not online? Well, Zap Records is my local record store in Coburg, Ontario. Great store. Tim Horgan is the owner and is an awesome guy. Tim is kind of trying to get ready to open up, and I dropped by the other day just to say hello and went in the back door and started looking through stuff. And I found this album, Jerry Garcia. So the Jerry Garcia acoustic band. I had this record when it first came out in the late 80s. It was actually my first solo Garcia album. I wasn't a huge fan of the Dead back then. I had a greatest hits album and enjoyed their music. Saw them in 1970 at Toronto at the Festival Express. Kind of just a casual fan. When I got this album, I didn't, because I never really got into following the band or anything. I didn't even realize Jerry did side projects till late. So anyway, I bought this album late '80s, fell in love with it. It's a great album. The thing about this album was when I found it a couple of days ago was this was a record store release, a double album set when the first album was only one album. Um, it's on purple vinyl as well. I think this came out in 2018, but an incredible acoustic album. A lot of bluegrassy stuff on it, and a lot of just traditional folk stuff, some blues. He does a great version of Ripple on here, which is actually my favorite song of all time. So that is my record find. Again, Joe, I want to thank you for putting on the video and the contest. I appreciate it, and look forward to watching you in the future. Congratulations on 100 subscribers. Thank you.